Hello family. I just want to start this video with saying thank you to all of my followers. I appreciate each and every one of you that follow my channel for whatever reason. You may be following it for recipes, to follow my gardening journey, for couponing, which I don't do as much of anymore. I still coupon, but just not as much as I used to. Um, but I appreciate all of you. I really do, for helping me grow my channel and just for all the comments and appreciation for the content that I put out there. I'm doing this video here today kind of about my garden, which is probably what I'll be talking about a lot, um, for the gardening season. I still plan on putting out some recipe videos, but the majority of which you'll see will be in regards to my garden because I'm excited about it. So I was watching a video earlier this week from the New Orleans gardener, and she imposed the question. I'm sorry about all the background noise. I live in the city, so yeah, you're going to hear traffic. Um, anyway, she imposed the question, when did you fall in love with, I don't remember if it was with your garden or with gardening. Either way, I fell in love with gardening. I've always had a desire to garden. I just didn't feel like it was possible where I live because I always see a lot of rabbits and things like that in my yard well before I started gardening. Um, and I was like, if I ever had a garden, they would just probably eat it alive. Facts. Last year when I did my garden, I did it in 5 gallon containers, well, the 5 gallon buckets. And then I also used like some more cute pots and stuff like that. But all I did last year, and I just wanted to test out to see if I can actually make items grow and to be able to eat and things like that. So last year I did cucumbers, tomatoes, bell peppers, hot peppers, and green beans, and some potatoes. That might have been everything that I did for the most part. And I grew everything. And that's when I learned that growing your own food, nothing tastes better. It tastes fresher, it tastes better. The flavor was more profound. I was just like, yeah, this is definitely going to happen. Well, of course, this year I decided, well, I'm going to make it bigger. Now, last year when I did the buckets and pots, my husband was like, well, why don't you just use a section of the yard? And I'm like, well, first I want to make sure I can grow something. So that was what my last year was about. I fell in love with gardening the moment I saw the first sign of something producing from one of my plants. I was in love from that moment. So now I'm probably going to be planting and growing so many more things than I did last year. I already have some things in the garden, but I have literally, I'm like, Gina, calm down. There will be more years to come to grow things. Don't grow so much stuff that you can't even, there's no way you're going to be able to eat all the things you and your family. So I'm trying to be mindful of that, but I want all the things. So I kind of fell in love with it, like I said, from the moment I first saw signs of any fruit from a plant. And I want to say the first plant I saw do that was the tomatoes. And I was like, it was, yeah, I was sold. So this year, one thing I did last year too is I originally started everything from seed. And I was talking to some people at work that I knew had gardens, and they're like, "Oh, I don't do that. I just go to the nursery and buy starts." And I'm like, "What's a start?" So, of course, I found out what that was, and I was like, "Well, why am I going through the labor of growing from seed?" So last year, I went and bought some starts, although I still had things trying to come to grow from seed. And then I ended up with kind of double of what I planted. I had tomatoes coming up from seed that actually grew. And I was like, I'm not throwing out my plants. So I grew a lot of tomatoes last year. So this year I trusted the fact that I can grow from seed. Will I get some starts? Maybe, but I have started everything that I currently have in my garden from seed, um, except for onions. I did buy starts for those, but everything else that's in my garden, um, I started from seed, and I take that back. Something else I put in my garden that I didn't start from seed, but I also have some that I started from seed, which are bell peppers. And I just want a lot of them because what I did last year is I diced and sliced a lot of them so that I can just easily throw them into either dishes or soups or chilies or whatever. And I went through them way too quickly. So this year I want way more plants so that I can have way more peppers, and I can hopefully get through to my next gardening season and then some with what I grow this year. That way I'm not waiting for the new fruit in order to have peppers. So, but I have tomatoes coming up by seed, onions, bunching onions, peppers, all kind of peppers. I have hot peppers, bell peppers, watermelon, um, zucchini. I have collards. I have mustard greens. I have cantaloupe. I have so many things, and some things I haven't even started yet. I'm going to do carrots. I'm going to do celery. I have started celery, but I haven't started the carrots. I'm going to do green beans, and I haven't started those because they don't take very long. Um, but yeah, so when did you fall in love with gardening? When did um, you know this was something that you had a passion for doing and that you can't see yourself not doing? I cannot see myself. I can't see myself not gardening ever. I don't like bugs. I freak out about the bugs. I call my husband to the rescue when I see a bug. I did get hornworms last year on my tomato plants. I probably saw about 4 or 5 of them throughout the whole season, and I was like, no way. And my husband took care of them. I think finally took care of one at the very end. But even in spite of the bugs, this is the thing. I, 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 I can't see myself not doing it. And I would love to be able to grow enough to where I don't have to depend on the grocery store in order to get the things that I want or that I need or that I cook with. Um, so yeah, last year with my tomatoes, I canned up a lot of tomato sauce. I went through that pretty quickly. So I'm going to do more of that this year. I'm also going to do salsa this year. Um, can up lots of salsa. I love chips and salsa. My older daughter, that no longer lives at home, she loves it. So she comes and gets jars to take to her house. But yeah, I just couldn't imagine not doing this, and I wish I'd done it sooner. There's just so many things that I feel that way about when I finally do it, like going natural. I used to relax my hair and wear it straight and wear it long, and when I remember telling my mom, like, I think I would love my hair being natural. I'm just afraid to go natural because I don't know what it's going to be like, the fear of the unknown. And I finally decided to go natural when I started my weight loss journey, and I was sweating my hair out, my relaxers out, because I was working out, and it didn't make sense to keep relaxing it. And I was like, why did I not do this sooner? I will never go back to relaxing my hair. I absolutely love my natural hair. I love the curliness of it. I mean, I can, twist it up and wear twists. I can, whatever I want to do. But the fear of not knowing what it was going to be like was what held me back from doing it for so long. And I feel like that with gardening. The fear that the rabbits and the squirrels would get into the garden and dig up and eat my plants kept me from doing it. But there's things that you can do to protect your plants, you know, so that they don't go and eat all of your stuff. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just, I'm doing a lot of YouTube university to learn how to protect my plants and how to keep them from being eaten up by the rabbits and having squirrels digging in to my plants and digging up stuff. I've had both things happen already. Before I had them covered, I have netting over my beds now, where I just bought like Dollar Tree hula hoops and made my little makeshift covering. And I just bought some netting and I have covering now for it, and now they're not getting into my beds. But there's ways around it, and you shouldn't allow something that can be rectified, something that you can find a fix to, keeping you from doing something that you will love doing. This is relaxing to me. The first thing I want to do when I wake up in the morning is go check on my garden. The first thing I want to do when I get home from work is go check on my garden. I want to see if anything's happening in the garden. Even if nothing's happening, I just want to look at my plants. I love this. So you know, share when you fell in love with gardening, if you are following my channel at this time for that. And if you're not, consider maybe even starting something small for yourself, to be a little more self-sufficient. Just do like a small pot, and have maybe some bunching onions and tomatoes in there, and maybe even a little bit of garlic or something, and see if you can grow it. And you might find that, wow, this is something I want to do, and you might add things to it the next year. Do peppers and tomatoes and some garlic and onion. But I just couldn't imagine not. I couldn't. It's just so different. Trust me. Make your own food. It's nothing tastes better than it. Nothing. A potato that you've grown yourself, a tomato that you've grown yourself, a pepper that you've grown yourself, the grocery store can't touch. And I remember as an adult when I bought cherries for the first time from the grocery store saying, what is this? Because I grew up, my grandmother had a garden, and she also had a cherry tree. And we grew up picking cherries from the tree. And I'm like, this is not what I remember having as a child. Well, that's because it's not what you had as a child, because it's been, sprayed with things to preserve it and all those kind of things. And it's usually maybe even sprayed with something that causes it to grow faster, to produce, just to get production out to the stores so they could sell the product. Child, grow your own. So anyway, guys, this video has gone on long enough. I'm going to get off of here, but I just wanted to get on and talk about that for a minute, because when I heard her say that, I think everyone has a story that gardens about when they fell in love with it and why. And it's always nice to hear it. What was your origin gardening story? All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my video if you like what you've seen or what you're seeing on the channel. And go back and look at some of my other content. Like I said, there's some recipe videos on here. A lot of good recipes, and just even some of the comments will tell you I have people who come back year after year and make some of my recipes, and they come back and tell me that they're, especially my cornbread dressing recipe, every year, for probably the past 3 years, I have this one guy who comes back every year to let me know he's making it again. So, and I appreciate that. Like, I want to hear that someone's family enjoys something that I've shared on here. So, anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.